How to code the selection structure. First, we see how to code if statements. If statements are control flow statements which help us to run a particular code only when a certain condition is satisfied. To explain this better, I will show you a flow chart. So this is the code, the start of the code. Whenever you have to make a decision, you enter the expression which checks if the condition is true or false. If the expression is true, it will go to the if block. It will go inside the if block and execute the code within the if block and then continue to the rest of the code. But if the expression is evaluated to false, it never enters the if block and directly goes to the rest of the code. So let's see this with the help of an example. Now suppose I have a variable a. I'm taking a number as input, so I write int enter a number. Now here I will start coding my if statement. So this is a simple if statement to check if the input is greater than 100. So first we'll write if, and in the round brackets we enter the statement that we want to evaluate. So we'll put a is greater than 100, colon, and if a is greater than 100 is true, then we will go inside the if block and print input greater than 100. Now let's run this code. This is just a simple if block. So we enter the number 7,700 and it gives input greater than 100. But now if I run this code again and I enter the number 20, this number is less than 100. So we have not told our code to do anything if the input is less than 100. So hence we just after it takes the input, the code completes the execution and the user gets no feedback about the input. So for that we use the else block. So the else block comes in if the if part is false. So if the if statement if a is greater than 100 evaluates to false, then the control goes to the else block. So in this case I'll write else colon. Here we don't need to write a statement before the colon because it directly starts executing if the control does not go to the if block. So we'll print input not greater than 100. So now I'll enter a number 20. So input not greater than 100. Now if I again run the code and I enter the number 100, it will again say input not greater than 100. Now the case is I have written 100, which is neither greater or lesser than 100. So I need a third condition where the number is equal to 100. So in that case, I can introduce my elif block, which is else if. If the if statement is false, the next part that we check is the elif statement. And if that also evaluates to false, then we go to the else statement. So in the elif part, we will write if a equal to 100. So if the input is equal to 100, then we print input is equal to 100. So now we got all three conditions: if input is greater, if input is equal, and if input is lesser or not greater than 100. now when we run the code, you can enter a number 500. So it says input greater than 100. Next condition we'll run is if we enter the number -10, it will say input lesser than 100. And the third condition is when we enter the number 100, and it will say input is equal to 100. This is how a basic if, elif, else statement works, and it can be used for making decisions in the code. So you can use your if, elif and else condition to see where the control of the code goes.